What if I told you that Las Vegas is spending over $100 million annually to essentially shut itself down for 3 days, all while claiming it's making the city richer? The Formula One Grand Prix promises a billion-dollar economic windfall, but behind the roar of engines and champagne sprays lies a darker reality that's fracturing America's entertainment capital. While billionaires toast in $2,800 per night suites, local businesses are bleeding money, tourists are abandoning the city in droves, and the very soul of Vegas, that promise of affordable escapism for everyone, is being auctioned off to the highest bidder. Today, we're diving deep into the numbers that reveal how F1 might be the most expensive mistake Vegas has ever made. The price explosion that's killing Vegas tourism. When MGM Resorts jacks up their November room rates by 1,000%, you know something's fundamentally broken with Vegas's economic model. The data tells a story of unprecedented greed meeting catastrophic miscalculation. During the 2025 F1 weekend, the average 3-night stay across MGM's 9 properties hit $1,624. That's a 24% increase from last year's already astronomical $1,315. The Bellagio, once the crown jewel of accessible luxury, now demands $2,846 for 3 nights during race weekend. Even budget properties like Luxor and Excalibur, traditionally the refuge of middle-class families and bachelor parties, are charging $582 and $525 respectively, roughly 5 times their normal November rates of $140 to $160 per night, according to Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority data. The economic ripple effects extend far beyond hotel pricing. Reid International Airport reports flight prices surging 15% year over year for race weekend, while ground transportation becomes a luxury unto itself. Uber and taxi fares spike to $50 just for the airport to hotel journey that typically costs $15 to $20. Restaurant reservations at strip venues require minimum spends of $500 per person, and even quick service establishments double their prices, knowing captive audiences have nowhere else to go. This pricing strategy represents a fundamental betrayal of Vegas's economic covenant with America, the promise that anyone, regardless of income, could taste luxury for a weekend. The psychological economics here are particularly devastating. Behavioral economists call this price anchoring gone wrong, when extreme pricing during special events resets consumer expectations permanently upward. Regular tourists who've been priced out of F1 weekend don't just skip that weekend. They're reconsidering Vegas entirely. LVCVA's own data confirms this theory. Visitor volumes plummeted 7.2% through September 2025, with August air passenger traffic down 5.8%. The middle-class families who once filled 40 million annual visits are being systematically replaced by 317,000 race attendees who contribute less to the local economy than claimed. This isn't market evolution, it's economic cannibalization, where Vegas is literally eating its own customer base to feed a racing series that gives back a fraction of what it takes. The billion-dollar mirage, exposing F1's economic shell game. Liberty Media and local officials trumpet F1's $934 million economic impact from 2024, with projections exceeding $1 billion for 2025. But these numbers crumble under serious economic scrutiny. The March 2025 analysis from LV SportsBiz exposed what many economists suspected. This figure represents gross spending, not net economic benefit. After accounting for subsidies, diverted tourist spending, and operational costs, the actual economic injection shrinks to a mere $200 to $300 million. That's a 70% evaporation rate on the promised returns, making F1 less an investment and more a glorified wealth transfer from taxpayers to Formula One's European ownership. The subsidy structure alone should alarm any fiscal conservative. Vegas hands F1 $12 million annually in direct subsidies, plus millions more in waived fees and police overtime costs. The track construction and demolition costs $100 million per event. Infrastructure that provides zero benefit to locals for 362 days a year. Clark County's $51.5 million commitment through LVCVA for 2025 means taxpayers are essentially paying $162 per race attendee just to have them show up. Compare this to events like EDC, which generates $400 million in economic activity without a penny in public subsidy, or NFL games that utilize existing infrastructure while contributing consistent revenue throughout their season. The economic multiplier effect that officials cite is particularly deceptive here. Traditional tourism economics assumes visitors spend money that circulates through the local economy multiple times. Tourists buy meals, restaurants pay workers, workers shop locally, creating a multiplication effect typically valued at 1.5 to 2.5 times the initial spending. But F1's ultra-wealthy attendees break this model. They arrive on private jets, no local airline employment, stay in luxury suites, minimal local labor relative to room revenue, dine at exclusive venues owned by international conglomerates, and leave immediately after the checkered flag. A Stanford Business School study on luxury event economics found that high net worth tourist spending has a multiplier effect of just 0.6 to 0.8, meaning each dollar spent generates less than a dollar in total economic activity due to immediate profit extraction to corporate headquarters and minimal local procurement. The Strip Shutdown, economic strangulation of local business. For 3 weeks every November, Las Vegas Boulevard transforms from the world's most profitable stretch of commercial real estate into a militarized construction zone that hemorrhages money for everyone except Formula One. The economic violence inflicted on local businesses defies comprehension. Asen Young's data reveals foot traffic to Strip-adjacent retail plummeted 23.4% during the 2024 race closures, with some businesses reporting revenue drops exceeding 40%. Batista's Hole in the Wall and Jay's Market are among numerous establishments suing F1 and Clark County, claiming the race caused greater losses in 2024 than in 2023, despite promises of improved coordination. The logistical nightmare creates cascading economic failures across the supply chain. Delivery trucks can't reach restaurants, forcing them to overorder in advance or run out of inventory. Employees face 2-hour commutes for shifts that normally take 20 minutes, leading to increased labor costs as businesses pay overtime or lose workers entirely. The Bellagio Fountain Club's construction blocks 2 traffic lanes 24 hours a day starting in October, essentially removing one of Vegas's most iconic free attractions from public access for 6 weeks. The economic value of these fountains as a foot traffic driver, estimated at $50 million annually in indirect revenue generation for surrounding businesses, evaporates entirely. The spatial economics of the Strip make these closures particularly devastating. Unlike other major cities where events can be routed around, the Las Vegas Strip is a linear economy. Businesses rely on the natural flow of foot traffic moving north and south. When F1 erects barriers and checkpoints, it doesn't just slow this flow, it creates economic dead zones where businesses become literally unreachable. The monorail stops serving key stations, taxis refuse Strip pickups, and rideshare costs double or triple, creating what urban economists call accessibility poverty, when transportation costs exceed the value of the destination. Small businesses operating on 5 to 10% profit margins can't survive 3 weeks of 40% revenue reduction. The city's Economic Development Office estimates that for every Strip-adjacent business that closes, 12 to 15 jobs are lost permanently, creating a multiplier effect in reverse. The vanishing middle-class tourist, a demographic catastrophe. Vegas built its empire on a simple proposition. Ordinary Americans could feel like high rollers for a weekend without breaking the bank. F1 is systematically destroying this demographic goldmine, replacing reliable middle-class tourists who visit 3 to 4 times annually with ultra-wealthy attendees who come once and never return. The numbers paint a picture of demographic replacement that would terrify any competent city planner. The average Vegas visitor pre-F1 had a household income of $65,000 to $80,000, stayed 3.4 nights, and spent $650 per trip. The F1 attendee profile shows household incomes exceeding $300,000, but their concentrated spending during race weekend doesn't compensate for the year-round tourists they're displacing. Convention business, the hidden backbone of Vegas's economy worth $11 billion annually, is showing signs of stress. Major trade shows are actively avoiding November slots, unwilling to compete with F1's chaos. The Consumer Technology Association considered moving CES dates after attendees complained about residual construction and inflated pricing from F1 preparations. Medical conventions, which bring 50,000 plus attendees who spend conservatively but consistently, are exploring alternative cities. Each lost convention represents not just immediate revenue loss, but relationship damage that takes years to repair. The International Association of Convention Centers estimates that once a major convention leaves a city, there's only a 30% chance it returns within 5 years. The behavioral psychology of tourism is working against Vegas in unprecedented ways. Tourism researchers identify something called destination intimidation. When a location becomes perceived as too expensive or exclusive, middle-class travelers don't just postpone visits, they mentally recategorize the destination as not for people like us. Social media amplifies this effect exponentially. Every Twitter post about $50 Uber rides or $2,800 hotel rooms gets shared thousands of times, creating a viral narrative that Vegas has abandoned regular Americans. Recovery from this reputational damage typically takes 7 to 10 years according to destination marketing studies, far longer than any temporary revenue boost from F1 could justify. The real estate distortion effect, how F1 is breaking Vegas's housing market. While headlines focus on tourist impacts, F1's most insidious economic damage may be to Las Vegas's real estate market, where speculation around the race is creating artificial price inflation that's pushing locals out of their own city. Commercial real estate along the Strip corridor has seen valuations increase 35% since F1's announcement, not from improved fundamentals, but from speculation about race-related development opportunities. This inflation spreads concentrically outward, affecting residential properties miles from the track. Henderson homes within event proximity zones now carry 15 to 20% premiums despite zero actual benefit from the race. The short-term rental market has been weaponized into an affordability crisis. Landlords are converting long-term rentals into Airbnb properties specifically for race weekend when they can charge $2,000 per night for a 2-bedroom apartment that normally rents for $1,500 monthly. Clark County estimates 3,000 units have been removed from long-term rental stock since F1's arrival. With Vegas already facing a housing shortage, median home prices up 40% since 2020, while median incomes rose just 12%. This artificial supply constraint pushes working families toward financial catastrophe. Teachers, nurses, casino workers, the people who actually make Vegas function, are being priced out by a 3-day race that contributes nothing to their quality of life. The development distortion is equally troubling. Instead of building affordable housing or mixed-use developments that serve locals year-round, developers are chasing F1-adjacent luxury projects. The $4.3 billion racing village planned near the track will feature condos starting at $2 million, marketed explicitly to international buyers who'll occupy them 3 days annually. This represents massive opportunity cost. The same land and capital could create 5,000 affordable units housing 15,000 residents who'd contribute to the local economy 365 days a year. Urban planning economists call this event capture, when a single attraction distorts entire real estate markets away from sustainable development towards speculative bubbles that inevitably burst, leaving communities with expensive, underutilized infrastructure and displaced populations. Formula One isn't elevating Las Vegas, it's economically strangling it while claiming victory. The numbers are undeniable. Tourism down 7.2%, small businesses suing for survival, middle-class visitors vanishing, and taxpayers subsidizing billionaire entertainment. Vegas gambled its soul on F1 and lost. What's your take? Has F1 ruined Vegas? Comment below and subscribe for more economic deep dives into America's most controversial developments.